I'm sure you've heard this said over and over and over and over again. Representation matters, but not all representation is created equal. It isn't enough to just have representation of the talent in front of the camera. It is just as important to have representation and or expertise behind the camera that is poised to capture diverse talent in the proper light, pun intended. Remember, the people you serve need to see themselves or who they aspire to be reflected in the visual imagery your brand puts forth. And if your brand regularly publishes imagery of diverse communities that they don't think is flattering, then they will get the message that they don't belong with you. The effort you put into securing representative talent won't yield the results you like if people are disappointed with the final product and the final imagery. Welcome to Inclusion in Marketing, a show that's all about giving you the skills and insights you need to win the attention, adoration, and loyalty of more consumers, especially those with differences that are often ignored by brands. I'm your host, Sonia Thompson, a marketer and someone with a lot of differences. Let's get to it. Did you know that most businesses only use 20% of their data? That's like reading a book with most of the pages torn out or paying for a coffee that's just 1/5 full. Point is, you miss a lot unless you use HubSpot. Their customer platform gives you access to the data you need to grow your business. The insights trapped in emails, call logs, and transcripts, all that unstructured data that makes all the difference. Because when you know more, you grow more. And when you get a full cup of coffee, you can do more too. But I digress. Visit HubSpot.com today. LUK, the magazine, recently did a spread featuring some of the leading ladies of the film Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Fans, particularly Black women, rejoiced and shared their excitement about the cover on social media. Not only were they ecstatic about the representation in mainstream publications, they were overjoyed by the beauty of the imagery. Now, I'm going to link to an image of this into the show notes because it's just beautiful. You've got three dark-skinned Black women, the leading ladies of Wakanda Forever, and they're set on this blue background. They've got these different colored sweaters. Their hair looks beautiful. It's just amazing. It's wonderful. It's beautiful in every way. You just have to see it. Leading up to the release of the movie of The Woman King, Elle Brazil did a cover spread of the Academy Award-winning lead actress Viola Davis. And again, I'm going to link to this in the show notes. But this spread for Viola Davis, it's everything. Like, it is amazing. The shots are wonderful. It's completely different from the LUK spread with the Black Panther ladies. It's elegant. It's just so good. A Black influencer that I follow on social media used her accounts to praise everyone involved with the shoot for El Brazil for such elegant imagery that highlighted Viola Davis's beauty, her grace, and her fierceness. Now, the bigger issue that was implied in her commentary, and it didn't need to be said because pretty much Black women have known this for a long time, and we got it just from looking at the imagery. The bigger issue that was implied in the commentary that didn't need to be said in that space by that influencer was that everyone involved needed to be rewarded for getting this shoot right because there's been a long and frustrating history of brands of all sizes, budgets, notoriety, and industries that have done a really poor job when presenting imagery of Black women in particular. For instance, a few years ago, Vogue was highly criticized for its cover spread of decorated Olympic gymnast Simone Biles. And her spread was shot by famed photographer Annie Leibovitz. One person wrote on Twitter, and again, I'm going to put this imagery in the show notes. She said that Simone Biles deserved better than Annie Leibovitz's bad lighting. The lighting wasn't so great. The styling could have been better. There were other photo spreads that were better, let's just say that. Black models and actresses have spoken at length about this type of thing over the years. They've expressed frustration at being asked to bring their own makeup to set, feeling nervous about whether or not the hairstylist will know how to style their textured tresses, and embarrassment to not feeling like their finished look was at the same level of quality as other models and actresses who had more of a quote unquote mainstream look. Now, in the 2021 State of Representation in Marketing Research report that I conducted, whenever I asked people, what is it that you wish brands knew about representation in marketing? What is it that you want them to know? And someone wrote in how bad it hurts that no one knows how to do African American women's hair on television or images I see online while these actors are on set. We always get left with dry hair that is never done. Ouch. I'm sure you've heard this said over and over and over and over again. Representation matters, but not all representation is created equal. It isn't enough to just have representation of the talent in front of the camera. It is just as important to have representation and/or expertise behind the camera that is poised to capture diverse talent in the proper light, pun intended. Remember, the people you serve need to see themselves or who they aspire to be reflected in the visual imagery your brand puts forth. And if your brand regularly publishes imagery of diverse communities that they don't think is flattering, then they will get the message that they don't belong with you. The effort you put into securing representative talent won't yield the results you like if people are disappointed with the final product and the final imagery. So the next time you and your team start preparing for a photo shoot or a video shoot that features and includes diverse talent or any type of content, right? Not just a photo or video shoot, any type of content that you're creating, it is imperative that you take the time to give proper thought to the roles behind the camera to ensure you get a final product that everyone can be pleased with. After this quick break, I'm going to walk you through the very specific roles that you need to make sure that you're taking into account so that you can get it right. All right, be right back. Okay, I've got another podcast recommendation for you. It's Augmenters, hosted by Julie Meyer and Jimmy Edgerton, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. So on this show, Julie and Jimmy dive into mentoring and explore ways to augment and refresh the mentoring environment. They're using 8 core principles that weave relevant spirit guides and diverse guests, and Julie and Jimmy use a lot of humor and practical tips to help mentors and mentees get further, faster together. There's so many great episodes to tune into for this show, but one that you might find especially interesting is their latest episode, number 120, Mentoring Across Gender, Men as Allies and Mentors. Listen to Augmenters wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so first up is, of course, you need to think about the photographers and the videographers who you are hiring. The person capturing the imagery needs to have sound knowledge of lighting, what colors complement various skin tones, and an overall vision for how to capture the talent in front of them in a manner that showcases their best features. It would be great if you're spent all the time and effort in making sure that the talent that you have in front of the camera is representative. A really smart way to be inclusive throughout for your brand is to not just limit the representation to what you're seeing in front of the camera, but to make sure that it exists behind the camera too. And the talent that you are hiring, the vendors, the contractors. So hire photographers and videographers, not only who have the knowledge and expertise, but it would be great if they were people of color, if they were from underrepresented groups, if they were representative of the people that you are serving, of the people that you are capturing. So making sure that you're thinking about your supplier diversity, not only will it help you produce a better product, but it will help you make sure that your brand is representative and inclusive throughout. So photographers and videographers is one area to focus on that. Another area to consider are your wardrobe stylists. Wardrobe is an important part of telling a compelling visual story. That's why having stylists that know how to dress bodies of different shapes, sizes, and degree of ableness is important. Again, they need to know what colors, shapes, and silhouettes complement and flatter varying skin tones and body types. And don't forget makeup artists and hairstylists. Hair and makeup are also essential components of completing any look. That's why it's mandatory that anyone you hire not only has their own tools to properly style and make up the talent you have on site, but they have demonstrated proficiency in being able to do so. And the talent needs to have a degree of comfort that the people who are going to be doing their hair and makeup know what they're doing. So, whatever you can do to calm those nerves and fears, because there's a long history of people not getting this right, and to reassure your talent that this will be done correctly and that the experts that you brought in really are experts in catering to them, the better off you'll be and the smoother the experience will go for everyone across the board. The talent you have in front of the camera should focus on doing the job you brought them there to do. They shouldn't have to waste time and energy worrying about, or worse yet, fixing a job not well done by a professional who was behind the camera, who was ill equipped to properly serve them. You can produce visual imagery that engages diverse audiences by making sure that you have the right people on hand to do the job well at your brand shoots. Source both representative talent in front of the camera and talent behind the camera that knows how to make them look great. That's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out again the show notes so you can actually see the images that I referred to earlier. And if you like this show, I would love it if you would take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode, as well as leave a rating and review. The feedback not only is super helpful for me, but it also helps other people discover the show. And I personally think it would be fantastic if more people were practicing being inclusive and being more inclusive with their marketing. In addition, I want to hear from you. I don't want this to be a one-way dialogue or just a conversation between me and the guests. I want you to join the conversation. So if you have a question, if you have a comment about this episode or any other episode or just anything in general related to the topic, leave me a voicemail. Go to inclusivemarketing.co/voicemail and just follow the prompts. It's super easy. And then you will hear your message on a future show. So join the discussion. I really look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, remember, everyone deserves to have a place where they belong. Let's use our individual and collective power to ensure more people feel like they do. Thanks for listening. Talk soon.